kids. Well, let's talk Blake 7 Federation Trooper rifles. Last week I had a pretty shocking thing happen to my PC. My folder that I keep all my videos and Tuesday stuff, graphics, etc., decided to empty itself. I've talked about this on social media, but I literally can't think of anything I may have done to cause that. All my film stuff is safe, but no, the videos folder seems to be empty, and I've tried numerous attempts and different methods of getting it back, and it hasn't happened. So I'm just going to assume that we start from scratch. So let's talk about Federation Trooper stuff. I think I might have done a bit, did I, in a previous video on Tuesday. Anyway, so get you up to speed. 40mm tube. Most people, you could probably use sink tube, for plumbing, but I decided to buy some ABS tube because it's a better plastic. It cuts better, it glues better, it takes paint better. So I cut these at 250mm in length by 40 diameter. I also cut extra pieces, which are 50mm at the tallest point, and they cut off at an angle, roughly 45 degrees, and that goes kind of on the end like that. So to join the two bits in the middle, I managed to get some, this is actually from a trophy, the columns that you get in trophies. So it is 40mm in diameter, but when you cut out the right amount, it will squeeze in like so without leaving too much of a gap there, and you need about 20mm, something like that. So this bit is actually going to be glued in, and where the line is, I'm going to fit that seam at the bottom like so. It's very much like Darth Vader's lightsaber, but it's all going to be glued in, and this will be coated with a strip of aluminium chrome tape. You see? So that's rather nice. Now the handles, I can't remember what I told you about the handles, but I know there's some on my Instagram, so let's talk about that. The handle basically looks like, kind of like this. Right, let's get this all together. So kind of like that. All right, so we've got a fake trigger, which doesn't work, but it's a sandwich of 5 different pieces. Middle piece is MDF, and this comes with the fake trigger and a little tab, this little tab across the top there, and that will slot into the tube, something like, I think it's near the front, so something like that. So it will go down about 10mm. So we've got a tab there, and then to go outside them is a bigger piece like that, just so that the trigger is indented a little bit on both sides. And then the outer piece is this piece with holes in, which is something like that. Now the one side of the gun, so once that's on there, the one side, let's work this out. If you're right-handed, no, actually it's the left side. The left side, when I put these pieces back on, the left side of the gun has where this hole is, has a push button. Now in the TV show, that push button was actually to set off the flashes. They put gunpowder flashes in the barrel of the gun, but I'm not doing that obviously, so I'm going to put a fake button there. So it's non-functional in any way. I mean, you could rig it up with lights, I suppose. But anyway, that kind of goes on. That's not very good. Like that. This side then, this hole will be filled in. So it needs painting and assembling, but as I said before, I was going to do a run of 3 of these rifles. Turns out I've got enough to do 4, so I'm going to do 4 rifles. 2, I think 2 may be already spoken for. hang on, so one of them is for me. One of them is for my friend Alan, who's going to help me with laser cutting pieces for these. He's a big Blake 7 fan. And I have had 2 people online saying they're interested, which means all 4 are taken up. But it depends if they actually go ahead with buying them, etc. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna make 4, and I'll try and document them in these videos, and we'll see how it goes. So far, looking pretty nice. Not looking forward to cutting the slot to fit the handle in. I do need to add extra bits to this. It's got to have a telescopic rod for the stock of the rifle. That's going to be made out of basically a selfie stick. Extra laser cut pieces for the back of the stock, and then it needs 2 D-rings and a strap to go over your shoulder. Then there's detail to go on top, which I shall show you right now. But basically, square tube, again made of ABS, 6 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're going to be cut a little bit shorter. They get placed around the top of the gun, something like that. Let's just turn that the right way. So they get glued on something like that. The back of them, is it the back or the front? Are cut off at 45 degrees. And then there's a little rod with a sight that sticks up. Top of this has a slot cut in it. And a plug in the back, and then everything else. So we're nearly there with pieces. I forgot to get selfie sticks yesterday. I may just buy them on eBay. But we're coming along nicely, so hopefully they'll be fun to make. So far, no major problems. I will say that the 2 companies that used to make these replica rifles no longer make them. I think the actual companies have actually closed down to move on to do different things. But I have had some help from one of the guys who used to make these. He's given me some advice. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to making these. Obviously, as you know, I'm a huge Blake 7 fan. If you don't know what Blake 7 is, it's a kind of a low-budget Firefly. Basically, from 1979 to 1981, it was a sci-fi story made by the makers of Doctor Who. In fact, the creator of Blake 7 is Terry Nation, the Welshman, no relation, who created the Daleks for Doctor Who. He wrote a kind of Robin Hood in space, you know, so Robin Hood and his merry men, and rob from the rich, steal from the poor, and fight the evil of the Federation. But the Federation have the best weapons. Anyway, on this channel I'll also be reviewing from November onwards the Blu-ray of the first series of Blake 7 that's just come out, so you can pre-order that right now. Anyway, he says again, this looks like the Tantive V4, doesn't it? So yeah, looking forward to doing that. Stay tuned, and if I manage to make 4 of these well, and obviously keep 1 for myself because I'm making a Federation Trooper costume that looks like that, I may do some more and put them on sale on an Etsy shop or on my Instagram or something like that. If anybody's interested in a replica Federation Trooper rifle, why not, I say. Times is hard and Christmas is coming. Anyway, that's what's happening with that. I glued the first one, and when it glued, thanks to the joy of super glue, it was like that. I didn't get, by the time I glued it, I didn't get a chance to thing, so it was stuck like that. So I had to smash the middle tube, dug it all out. There's still some of it still in here, but I'll use this as the back end. So I thought, how can I make sure this is glued at the right distance, but still very straight without being, even that is not quite right. And then it dawned on me, use another piece of tube, just like I used a piece of cardboard. Remember to cut this because it conforms to the straightness. So if I put that over there, that is holding everything dead straight. Okay, so I can put dabs of glue, top and bottom, and then move it around, top and bottom, until it's finally glued. And when I take this away, voila, one straight edge. So I'm going to do that with all of these guns, all of these barrels at least, and I'll come back. Oh, also, I've had some rings made up, thanks to my precious. Thanks to my friend Alan, who's got a laser cutter. He's cut me some acrylic rings. Now the rings go one on the front end about that far in, and one on the back end about that far in, on the rifles. And these are cut from acrylic, and they're really nice, and they come with protective paper on them. At the moment they don't quite fit on because my measurements weren't brilliant, but that's fine because I can sand a little bit around on the inside. I'd rather have a tight fit than a very loose fit, you know, so that's perfect. I've got enough for three blasters here. The other two are missing in action, but they will turn up. But yeah, so thanks to Alan for those. So we're getting there, we're a little bit small. Let's do some more of these. So about 24 hours later, all four connected up. Okay, so I didn't sand the blue off the pipes there, but they all went on quite nicely. They're all pretty level, and yeah, I think they're good. Now, my next step is to start assembling the handles. So the plan is, obviously I think I've told you this before, each handle is made out of 5 layers. You've got the middle layer, which has got the trigger on it. Then you've got an outer layer, which adds a bit of thickness, like that. Then you've got the detail layer, which kind of sits in there, something like that. And that's on both sides, obviously. Now, what I need to do, this is painted a different color. It's a slightly lighter gold. So I need to stick those like that and then paint those. But I'm going to leave a gap in the middle so it will adhere to the detail layer, like so. And these will be painted separately as well, but the lighter color. These will be the darker color. Then I've also got to mark, see where this tab is. This tab has got to fit in a slot like that somehow, probably near the front like that. Another thing I've just remembered, these end pieces have a slot cut in the top, a big slot. I thought I'd assemble them first, make sure they're solid before I start cutting into them, because to have a piece with a slot in it makes it all bendy and kind of, it can go wrong even worse. So I'm going to mark the slots out and cut them with a hacksaw, I think. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do this week. So that rather weird video, by the way, I was taking them, sat down in the corridor upstairs because my room is completely upside down at the moment because of all the my shelving units are currently in Gloucester prison, where we've been shooting Mummified, but it should be back to normal by mid-October. Anyway, that very weird video is brought to you by the my ongoing hope to do these Federation guns, which are sort of moving along nicely. Tomorrow, or actually today, if you're watching this on a Tuesday, I am recording a long overdue catch-up with my friend Richard Dursley. Yes, he has a small wizard living under his stairs, out in Bristol, and we'll be talking all things about movies. He's a filmmaker, he's a podcaster, a video maker, and a Godzilla
expert and enthusiast, and we haven't had a chat for a long time. Occasionally we'd interview each other and find out what's going on and catch up, so we're going to do that on Tuesday. If you're watching that Tuesday, that means that's today, but you should see that next week, if it all gets done in time, obviously. So with that said, keep it here. More news on Blake 7. The Blake 7 reviews will be coming up at some point in November-ish. And yeah, and Richard Dursley next week. So keep it here, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye then.